All right, let's dive into a smartphone that claims to have it all. We're talking about a phone that's supposed to have the brains of a high-end flagship and the brawn of, well, a tank. It's built for the absolute toughest conditions, but it promises you won't have to give up the cool features you love. So, is that even possible? Let's find out.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever thought twice before taking your phone on a hike or to a job site? Or maybe you just get that little jolt of panic when it slips out of your pocket. Yeah, we've all been there, right? Cradling these beautiful but super delicate pieces of glass.
It really is the classic trade-off, isn't it? On one side, you've got these sleek, incredibly powerful flagship phones that are just amazing, right up until they meet a concrete floor. And on the other side, you've got these rugged phones that are basically indestructible, but often feel like you're using tech from 5 years ago.
But what if you didn't have to choose? Well, that's where the Hotwav Cyber 16 Pro comes in. This is a device that's promising to completely bridge that gap, to give you both that extreme durability and modern performance, all in one package.
So its mission is pretty straightforward. Deliver a phone you can actually trust in any environment, but without making you compromise on things like the camera, the screen, or the software. Now, that is a bold claim. Let's see if it really holds up.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the brawn side of things. How tough is this phone really? I mean, the specs here are clearly designed for people who need a device that can survive a seriously demanding lifestyle.
So how does it prove its tough? Well, for starters, it's got IP68 and IP69K ratings. What that means is it's totally sealed against dust, and it can handle not just being underwater, but also being blasted with high-pressure hot water jets. But the real headline feature is its military-grade certification, MIL-STD 810A.
So what does that military standard actually mean for you and me? Well, it's a whole series of brutal tests designed by the US military to prove that a piece of gear is tough enough for the battlefield. We're talking about surviving drops, shocks, and working in seriously hot or freezing cold environments. It's certified resilience.
But the toughness isn't just about what's on the inside. The physical design itself is really smart. It's got these reinforced corners to absorb impact from drops, a textured back so it's easier to grip, and a super practical programmable side button you can set for instant access to, say, your camera, flashlight, or whatever app you want. So yeah, it's definitely tough. No doubt about that. But a tough phone with a bad screen or a slow processor is just it's a smart brick. So let's flip over to the other side of the equation and see if the Hotwav Cyber 16 Pro has the brains to match all that brawn. And the first surprise is the display. This isn't some low-res, laggy screen you might expect on a rugged phone. We're looking at a big 6.6-inch Full HD Plus panel with a 120 Hz refresh rate. That means all your scrolling and animations are going to be incredibly fluid, something you usually only find on premium flagship phones.
Now that's already impressive for a device like this, but the feature that really, truly sets it apart isn't on the front at all. No, you gotta flip it over. The real magic is on the back.
Check this out. It has a secondary 1.45-inch touchscreen on the back. This is brilliant. You can quickly check your notifications, skip a song, or answer a call without ever lighting up that huge main display, which saves a ton of battery. And here's the killer feature. You can use it as a viewfinder to take selfies with the main 108-megapixel camera. Genius. Speaking of the camera, let's get into the specs that make this a truly modern smartphone. It all starts with the main sensor, a massive 108 megapixels. That resolution lets you take incredibly detailed photos where you can crop way in without losing quality.
Then you've got the performance. The phone can use some of its storage as temporary memory. It's a feature called virtual expansion, giving it access to a whopping 24 gigabytes of RAM. That is more than enough for some seriously smooth multitasking. And what about storage for all those high-res photos? A huge 512 gigabytes of built-in storage. And if that's somehow not enough, you can add up to a 2 terabyte micro SD card. Yeah, you will probably never run out of space.
The full camera setup is just as versatile. Beyond that huge main sensor and a solid 32-megapixel front camera, it has a truly unique tool, a 24-megapixel infrared night vision camera. This thing lets you take clear black and white photos and videos in complete darkness. It's a genuine utility, not just some gimmick. And the intelligence keeps going with the software. It's running the latest Android 15 and even has Google's Gemini AI baked in for assistance. Plus, it comes preloaded with this Toolbox app that has practical tools like a sound meter, a magnifier, and a level, perfect for a work site or a camping trip.
Okay, so you've got a tough body and a smart brain, but none of that matters if the phone dies halfway through your day, right? That brings us to the power source and its promise of some serious endurance. The foundation of its stamina is this number right here, a massive 6,280 milliamp hour battery. Just to put that into perspective, that's about 25 to 30% larger than the batteries you'll find in many of today's top flagship phones.
And what does that mean in the real world? Well, it means you can talk for 100 hours straight or watch videos for 30 hours, and the standby time is a ridiculous 3,000 hours. This is a phone designed to last for days, not hours on a single charge.
But it gets even better. It also has 10-watt reverse charging. This means your phone can actually become a portable power bank. You can plug in your wireless earbuds, your smartwatch, or even a friend's dying phone and give them a boost. That is incredibly useful when you're off the grid.
Okay, so we've looked at the toughness, the smart features, and the insane tower. We started this by asking if this phone could solve that classic dilemma of choosing between a smart device and a tough one. So, what's the final verdict?
Well, ultimately, this phone is all about smart trade-offs. The pros are just undeniable. Military-grade durability, that massive battery, a super unique camera system, and incredible storage. But to hit its price point and stay focused, there are some compromises. It doesn't have 5G, and its processor is more mid-range, so it's not really for competitive gaming. It also lacks optical image stabilization. That's the feature that physically smooths out videos, so you'll need a steady hand for the best shots.
But I think this final question really puts it all into perspective. The Hotwav Cyber 16 Pro isn't trying to be one of those fragile flagships. It's aiming to be something else entirely, a reliable all-in-one tool. For the right person, this isn't just a phone. It's a piece of essential gear. It really makes you wonder what you truly need from the device in your pocket.